Go.
Hi, everybody. Come on a little closer. I want to read you a story today. My name's Neil, and I want to read you a book called The Napping House. So before I read it, I want to ask you guys a question. How many of you are, because we're all at home now, how many of you are at home with a lot of people? How many of you are home with your mother, your father, some brothers, some sisters, maybe some grandparents, some aunts, and some uncles? Well, I'm at home with my wife and my two sons. And before we were stuck at home, my son was away at college. And now he's back. He was at Maryland. And now he's home. So there's 4 of us in a very small house. And do you feel sometimes like you're on top of each other? You know, like, because you can't get out, but there's so many of you? And how many of you get tired sometimes and lazy, and you feel like you don't want to get out of bed and do your distance learning schoolwork? You just want to lie in bed all day. Well, I think that's what this book is about. And I want you guys to, as I'm reading it, listen to some similarities or differences between what your house is like. So the name of this book is The Napping House. Okay, so read it with me, please. The Napping House by Audrey Wood, illustrated by Don Wood. You get the pages here. There is a house, a napping house, where everyone is sleeping. Does that look like some of your houses, maybe? Ordinary looking house. And in that house, there is a bed. It's a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Are you doing that a lot in your houses these days, just sleeping because you're not allowed out? I know. Stop. And on that bed, there's a granny and a snoring granny on the cozy bed in the napping house where everyone is sleeping. Okay? Does your grandma live with any of you? And does she sleep a lot? But the bed looks cozy. And on that granny, there is a child, a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. What do you think he might be dreaming about? Maybe when you can go outside, right? It's a beautiful day today, but it's been cold, right? It's been cold and rainy, and some of you, and we're all stuck inside. It's easy to stay in bed when it's raining, isn't it? In your cozy bed. I don't want to do my distance learning homework. And on that child, there's a dog, a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Do you guys have dogs? There's a cat. I think the cat looks jealous. The cat wants to be on the cozy bed with the snoring granny. And what's on that dog? What did we see down there? And on that dog, there's a cat, a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child. And again, what are you dreaming about? Summertime, right? When we can go outside and go to Memorial Pool, where Miss Naffs can read to you on a Thursday afternoon, on a cozy bed in the napping house where everyone is sleeping. Do you sleep a lot more during the day now that you're home? And you don't have to go to school, to Radburn Elementary School? Do you sleep a lot more? And on that cat, what is there? There's a mouse, a slumbering mouse, on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny in that cozy bed in a napping house where everybody's sleeping. And on that mouse, what's on a mouse? A flea. Can it be? A wakeful flea? On a slumbering mouse, on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoozing granny, on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Do you guys ever fall asleep when your parents are reading you a bedtime story and you fall asleep? I think sometimes your parents might fall asleep right next to you too while they're reading that bedtime story. A wakeful flea who's gonna bite the mouse, who scares the cat. That was a scary cat. Who claws the dog, What's happening now? Who thumps the child? Uh-oh, people are starting to wake up, right? The slightest noise. Who bumps the granny, Maxwell? The granny's up. Look, everybody's up. Can you see? Everybody's up. Is that how you guys wake up in your house? Like this? Who breaks the bed? The cat, the granny, the child, the dog, the mouse, they're all up. Is this what it looks like in your house when it's time to get up? In the napping house, where now no one is sleeping. Everybody's up because of the littlest noise. Did that ever happen to you? You're in a cozy bed and suddenly it's time to get up because somebody makes a noise, because your dog jumps on you because it's time to get out, or your cat claws you and meows. So that's the napping house. And the reason I picked the napping house was because we're at a time now where we're kind of stuck inside. We kind of can't go outside, right? But I want you to think about how lucky we are and what a beautiful thing that is, that we can't go outside. Because it's a beautiful thing to be inside with your family, with your animals, with your grandma. That's a beautiful thing, that you can spend time with your parents and your family. And we're safe, right? We're safe. Your grandparents and your parents and your animals, nothing's gonna happen to you. So I want you to think about how lucky we are. And sometimes you wish you could go out and be in a classroom again. Yes, some of you wish you could be back at school. But think about how lucky you are that you can be inside, and what a beautiful day it is that you're inside, safe and sound with your family. My name's Neil, and I want to thank you very much for letting me read this to you. Have a great day. Good night.